think everybody knows what this is, right?
Cell phone?
You have an iPhone? No, not a cell phone. It got me here today. It told me to turn right. It told me to turn left. It told me to slow down. It told me to speed up. It told me everything that I could do so that I could find the right direction. This is a GPS, a global positioning system. And it will help me, if I'm willing to listen to it, keep me from getting lost. That's the GPS. Now what's this?
Word of God.
This is the Bible, or maybe a gospel positioning system. This will tell me and hopefully keep me from getting lost also. But in both cases, I have to be able to use this, and I have to be able to use this. In today's gospel, Jesus speaks to us and talks to us about a landlord who leases his vineyard out to produce good fruit. But when the servants come, what happens to the servants? They get beaten, they get stoned, they get stoned. They don't get, they get beaten, okay? They get stoned with stones, okay? And they end up getting killed. And Jesus asked his disciples, given this that happened, what will the landowner do when he comes back? And what's their response? They will put these wretched people to a wretched death. He will destroy them. There's something about our world that the first response is many times violence. We repay violence with violence. When we get hurt, we want to fight back. When something happens to us, we clench our fist. Now, we know even Jesus himself was a victim of violence. The leaders of the people put him to death. The crucifixion was an act of violence, because here was someone who wanted to preach righteousness and justice. Somebody who said we should take care of the widow and the orphan. As we heard in St. Paul, whatever is worthy, whatever is excellent, this is the way we should live as gospel people. And so we have a choice. We can choose either to respond or not respond. We can say yes, we can say no, or we can respond to the Lord because the Lord has entrusted us here with this world and said that this world should be a better world because of our presence in us. Because this is our vineyard that we need to work in. Now we know in reality that trying to live and work in the vineyard of the Lord sometimes is very difficult for any one of us, because it calls us to often recalculate our direction. And if you have a GPS, or if you have a Bible, hopefully both of those recalculate our direction at different times. If I get lost on my way to Youngstown, they recalculate me. If I get lost in my way of life, we can recalculate ourselves. The scriptures will enable us to do that. The power of God's grace will enable us to do that, if we choose so. And so in the gospel today, and in our life today, we're being challenged Every single one of us. Now, we can do it our own way. Sometimes I don't want to ask the directions. But when I don't ask the directions, when I say I want to do it my own way, when the world says we're going to do it our way, what do we end up with? We end up with violence and war and destruction and terrorism. We end up with poverty. We end up with homelessness. We end up with broken relationships and destroyed relationships. All because sometimes we're not willing to recalculate. We're not willing to listen to the gospel. So we really do